Hello and welcome to the Franchise Life. I am your host, Stacy Shannon. Today we have a emerging franchise brand called Pulse Performance. And with me I have JD Busch, who is the founder and Chief Energy Officer of Pulse Performance. Welcome, JD.
Glad to be here.
Well, thank you for joining me. So recently I had the opportunity to learn more about your brand at a franchise event in Austin. And it really piqued my interest. I am no stranger to the fitness industry. I owned a boutique fitness studio myself from 2014 to 2019. So, what I really loved about Pulse is the multiple revenue streams that you have. But before we dive into the brand itself, do you mind sharing a little bit about you and your background in the franchise industry?
No, wonderful. Yeah, I've actually been in the franchise industry for 28 years. Started obviously in fitness, actually, which had a multi-brand concept all under one roof. So it was multiple franchise concepts kind of bolt into one, basically kids. We did some adults, but kids overall system. But I've been a multi-unit, multi-brand franchisee, area representative, and then obviously had minority interest in a franchisor that was more consulting, like where we help franchisors, emerging brands launch their concepts. And so, I've been in all aspects of franchising, done it forever. I love being an operator and owning stores, but I love supporting, growing, and selling franchises as well, helping other individuals that are first into franchising and or they could be multi-brand, franchisees as well and concepts. So I have a wide range of, people that I've worked with in the franchise industry for 28 years. My biggest thing is like probably with any emerging brand, obviously I'd say I'm not emerging brand now. It's emerging brand, but not an emerging franchisor. Been doing this a long time. I try not to make the same mistakes twice, but definitely in my 28 years, I've learned from a lot of mistakes, learned about franchise, bringing in the right franchisees, supporting them in the right way, and ultimately have an operations system for making franchisees successful.
So I understand you've owned a amazing lash studio. You have also owned Massage Heights and been very involved in that business. So those are both in the health, beauty, wellness segment, which Pulse Performance is as well. So how did Pulse Performance come about?
So try to make this as short as I can, but I did so I do domestic, franchise development and consulting. I also do international. So I was part of an international franchise group. I was actually at a international franchise conference in Vienna and got turned on actually from the event. It was actually the multi-unit. I was part of all the marketing materials. So there was probably a 2-minute segment of my background and all the things that I've done in franchising as being the largest franchisee and or largest area representative in all the brands I've been a part of. So I got turned on to electrical muscle stimulus, boutique fitness concept, 5 years ago, with great company. They're the largest in Europe, and actually went in and tested the system, got to know them very well. Was really intrigued about the success they had in the space, intrigued about really it's finding that lightning in a bottle. I feel with the Amazing Lash Studio, where obviously we sold off the company, 5-6 years ago, but we were the largest in the industry and actually grew it to be still the largest. They're larger than all the other lash concepts or lash franchise concepts combined. So I got turned on to it. We were actually trying to work a deal to help them come into the U.S. and break into the U.S. market. And then I actually had a major injury. I broke my neck. Went through goodness. 18 months of rehabilitation. And the crazy thing is, and I would recommend breaking your neck to really fall in love with the concept, but they use electrical muscle stimulus, on my body, different parts. I lost, basically full use of my right side of my body. and had to learn to reuse it. And from EMS, because you can't lift weights, you can't do a multitude of things. They used EMS to basically trigger, activate my muscles to basically have that reconnection of your spinal cord talking to your brain. Obviously didn't injure anything in my right side of my body or break any bones or anything else. It's just from damage in my spinal cord, my brain was able to talk to my right side of the body properly. And with EMS, 1,000%, I could probably say I'm probably the largest believer in the world. I feel like it was a major aspect on my recovery and why I'm walking today. Like I said, I have probably 75% use of my right side of my body, but I'm walking, changed my whole life in the way of how you can help others, how you can bring something. I think in Europe, because there is tens of thousands of EMS concepts, there's not an education on the fact of does it work or not. But obviously I got educated on it 10 times more. I mean, the Mayo Clinic actually uses it in all their rehabilitation centers for people like myself that have had spinal injuries, to stroke victims, people that actually are fully paralyzed, to be able to keep their circulation, muscle, different issues that come around you with not having use of your body. And they actually, like I said, use it on multiple sclerosis. It actually helps with just the receptors and your brain talking to your body the right way. So I learned so much and just fell in love with it. Basically decided that this is something I couldn't walk away from and something that I had to do myself. So I decided to launch my own concept. And being that I've been in the beauty industry as well, was looking at a way that we could do a full encompassing concept. And I just started looking into everything EMS. I mean, I spent through my rehabilitation, a year, I feel like, researching, understanding everything about the concept. And I feel like I have something that'll be the biggest thing. I should say, I know this will be the biggest thing that I've ever done in my life. And I said I would never launch another franchise system. That I love the consulting. I love working with people. Definitely gave me a lot more freedom, but I could work 20 hours a day and I've never been so excited about it. Just something I just have a major passion for, if that makes the most sense.
Wow. What an incredible journey you've been on, and certainly a living testament to the power of EMS. So EMS is just, it's something that is kind of pie in the sky to me. I hate to put it that way, but it's just something I'm not familiar with. But I understand that it's two of your largest revenue streams. So you have EMS training and EMS sculpt. Can we break those two revenue streams down a little bit and what that would mean to a potential client?
Yeah, I'll start with the training. Again, there's obviously a lot of aspects where they're the same in the way that you're using electrical impulses, kind of where we got the name of pulse, to activate your muscles. So basically just like working out, you're going in and tearing the muscle to build lean muscle mass. At the same time, you're revving your metabolism. It helps lean out, so overall bring down your body fat percentage. And what's beautiful about it is, the activation and how you activate up into 12 sessions. You basically start your first session with the exertion of basically running a mile to literally, which I think I'm the only person I've ever seen get there. I've tested so many different systems and everyone are like, oh my God, I can't believe how high you are. But I'm such a believer. I've been doing it for, over 3 years now, adamantly, that it literally can go to the full activation if you're at the full levels and full impulses of the system to 24 miles run. I'd say the average person gets to over 12 sessions to 10 plus mile exertion. So just the fact of being that you're getting a full body workout at one time, it actually revs your body to burn calories for up to 72 hours. You're building lean muscle mass. So the whole aspect of our concept is a wellness. So it's about building a lean, healthy body. Weight loss definitely is a major aspect to people in different body types. But some people, obviously, that are already marathon runners that are very lean, they're actually gaining weight because, and even though they're losing inches, they're gaining more muscle, right, because they're doing high cardio. So it's just unbelievable in the way that you're getting a full body workout in 20 minutes. It's equivalent to doing a three-hour HIIT class. That's really the amount of exertion that it can do with your body. The EMS Sculpt, which is a non-invasive fat loss treatment, it's a targeted area. So 99% of America and US is basically your midsection is obviously the biggest problem area. So this machine can do everything from triceps, biceps, individual areas to abs, glutes, inner thighs, outer thighs. So you basically can focus on your major problem areas. So it's an added benefit that you're getting additional targeted electrical muscle stimulus. So you're toning, tightening, and lifting, but it also has a fat loss aspect to it, to where it has a radio frequency that actually internally heats your overall fat cells to help release fatty acids, to where in 8 sessions you can lose up to 30% body fat. So, and again, that very targeted area. So people that have bigger areas that have more fat, we can target those areas to help reduce the overall fat in that area faster.
So would the EMS Sculpt be an alternative to, say, liposuction, which is a very invasive procedure?
So really the biggest one is med spas itself have really gone towards the EMS Sculpt over cold sculpting. It's the best way to kind of say it. So where cold sculpting freezes your fat cells to reduce your overall fat in that particular individual area. The major difference is you're toning and tightening and building muscle, which also increases the fact of losing overall body fat. So the number one thing is I guess the best way to put it is, if you have a beer belly like I had, is the best way to put it. You have a very large belly, you're actually toning and shrinking and building that muscle to basically get back stronger, abs, from whatever lifestyle you've lived and the body type that you built.
And is this something you need to continue to do on a repetitive basis to ensure that, I guess, those cells don't go back to their normal behavior?
So the biggest thing that we do is we actually provide, a basically wellness or fit plan. So our biggest aspect is, and we do full consulting. So the big thing we do is we have an amazing system that does 3D body scans to measure, it measures hundreds of different things in your body, but the biggest thing we focus on is where you're at in your fitness level. So it can tell you you're obese or above average, you're at high risk health-wise, or you're all the way to fit level, which is ultimately what we're trying to do. So it really depends on your body and where you're at in your fitness level. But, again, with what you're saying, if you hit your level, if you're not worried about your nutrition is such a huge aspect to it. So one of the aspects that we do with our goal setting is we actually show them on where they should be ultimately in the calories they take in per day. Obviously protein is a huge aspect in the way of helping build muscle. So we really consult with them on ultimately, if you change your overall lifestyle, you're going to be able to keep and stay off. Most people, that's the hard part, is the staying strict on your overall nutrition. So we really focus on the fact that by continuing to work out, to continue to focus on those areas, we really try to make it. So in the way of, fitness, we have full encompassing plans where they get fitness, they get the EMS training, they get the EMS Sculpt, and we do infrared therapy that obviously helps tremendously with additional calorie burn, raising metabolism, and reaching their body levels. But again, when you're working out on a regular basis, the amount of calorie and nutritional intake can be higher than obviously if you're not working out. So we really try to build a plan to where it's on a monthly program to be able to encompass individual training. They can actually even do Sculpt, but we really, we have 45% of our clients that are doing all services, and we're just seeing absolute amazing results. Most of the time it gets them to where they want to come in more frequently because they like the way they feel, they like the way their body looks and the way that it's transforming. So I know that was a long way around your question, but no, we really try to build a way that they understand that this is something to do continually, because ultimately everybody has a different level of their starting point, and we actually will give them hard dates on what it would take if they meet their nutritional levels. And again, because nutrition is such a big aspect to it. We also show them that they could come in 3 days a week, and if they're eating 3,000 calories a day, they'll see no results. So we really try to put in their mindset and setting expectations. If you only burn so many calories a day and you're eating more calories than you're burning, you're not going to see results. So we really try to put them in that mindset and overall expectations and how we can help them reach their goals.
So this is very much a holistic approach to overall well-being between the EMS training, the EMS sculpt, the 3D body scan, and infrared therapy.
100%. So with our 3D body scan, we use that to be able to make sure what kind of progress they're doing, and also have that communication. What are you doing outside of here? Because again, we understand that nutrition, and if they're going and having a gallon of ice cream every day, they're not going to get results. So there's only, with any fitness, it doesn't matter if you're doing HIIT classes, boxing classes, whatever it is, you will burn more calories, which means you can have more calories, but there's still a give and take on the total amount of calories you're burning to the amount of nutritional calories that you're bringing in every day.
JD, earlier you mentioned that EMS is very prevalent in the European markets. What is, I guess, the knowledge base or prevalence in the United States with EMS?
I can tell you, just even in the last year since we launched, it's, any of the, mom and pop, EMS training facilities, other franchises, it all brings more awareness and education. I think that the biggest change I've seen too is because MedSpa is all going to a EMS sculpt. Factor 2 is bringing more knowledge to the overall electrical muscle stimulus market. So again, it's all about education. We try to educate. I think that with our marketing and the major strides that we made in marketing about showing more people that have fit bodies, getting them, on the phone to really educate them on how we get them to that wellness level or fit level that we're trying to ultimately achieve.
From an employee standpoint, then, for a clinic or studio, how do you refer to it? Is it a studio?
Yeah, it's a studio. I mean, obviously that's one of our aspects. Obviously we have a lot of different taglines, but our overall as being an EMS wellness studio, we're trying to, we're always looking at all EMS products. I mean, we're testing EMS facials. We will be implementing EMS massage. That's going to be something we've already tested it. It's also, like I said, it's about, our next locations and the rooms that we provide and the services. But basically we're focused, everything moving forward is on any new EMS type products or services that we can provide to customers and to our clients, to be able to help with other areas. Or because again, a lot of our clients have major back pains, sciaticas, like I said, we do have clients that have MS and other medical issues to where they can't live their day-to-day life. So we're really trying to set in the wellness aspect is not trying to make it more fit, but also to have a better feeling body. There's so many aspects of the EMS technology that helps with, people that have major chronic back pains, have major arthritis, when you can rebuild that muscle, obviously where you can't work out. Like with myself, that was a prime example. I have major, arthritis in my knee, and I wasn't able to do squats and do leg curls or other aspects. I'm rebuilding that muscle, obviously with the weight that I've lost with the EMS technology. It's helped tremendously with being able to play tennis, and do different things without my knee having major issues.
Definitely making a difference in people's lives through all of these services. So from an employee standpoint, what type of backgrounds do your employees need to have, or certifications, what have you? And what is the footprint of a Pulse Performance studio?
Well, that's what's great about this concept, as well as all my other concepts I'm involved with had 30 to 50 employees. I know that's obviously a concern a lot of people with, the current market we are in worldwide. So with this concept, you're going to run the full concept with 5 to 7 people. So a lot less people. Really what we're looking for more than anything is fitness enthusiasts. With our current location, yes, we get a lot of certified personal trainers. That's not a requirement, but we do the full. I mean, I went and did all my training, advanced training in EMS training from a group in university in Germany. So we've actually taken that knowledge, and we also have, with our partnership with our EMS machines, where they'll come in and do certified trainings at all of our franchisee openings. But we basically certify them on the EMS technology, all the aspects of it across the board, and certify them on that. So really, you don't have to be a personal trainer or certified personal trainer. It is stuff that we look at, but it's somebody that's really into fitness, and we train them on all the aspects of EMS training, and certifying them across, all the franchise locations, everything that we'll be doing. With the Sculpt, we do launch. Right now there's only 2 states that are fully regulating it. It's very similar to what we did with Lash. When we first launched Amazing Lash Studio, it wasn't regulated at all. And actually, believe it or not, Texas was the first state to regulate it, where I had most of my locations. So we launched it with estheticians. So we know that with Sculpt, that we're following kind of the cool sculpting aspect, where it wasn't regulated when it first launched. And then most states had really launched, in the way of being part of the health licensing. So we know that eventually it's going to go there. So we are launching the concept where we have a certified esthetician that are actually running the Sculpt machines, being that we're just getting in front of the fact of when regulations, get more strict across all the states. Infrared therapy, again, that's very simple, easy. Sauna, it's more of a setup and understanding the benefits of it and explaining it. But we basically do everything in-house. So the only really certified, trained person that we have in there is hiring estheticians to run the Sculpt.
All right. And then
footprint. Yeah, footprint. So next answer to your question is basically all we need is 1,500 square feet. So we are a smaller footprint to really keep the overall cost down on your build out and overall investment in the franchise system.
So one of the very, attractive attributes of a business such as this, aside from the feel good of being able to help people, is it is a membership based type of business, which I know when I had my fitness studio, that was very attractive, because you can forecast, in essence, for a period of time what your sales will be. So can you talk me through what a membership would look like with Pulse Performance?
Yeah, so that's a great aspect. The biggest thing is all the concepts I've done have always been membership based. So for me, well, it's not true. I've been in the restaurant business as well. But again, if it's bad weather or, storm happens or closed down, there's no income coming in. And I remember, I started in membership-based businesses, and have done nothing but membership-based businesses since. And the biggest aspect of it is you have one more member than you had the day before, or one more member than you had that month, or more members each year. It basically gives you a consistent level, like you said, of growth in your company. It also makes it, like I said, with forecasting, we know X amount of members, you're going to be to a profitable standpoint, and X amount of members are going to be making X, profitability. So it's very easy to set, performance budgets and forecasting on expectations, where we need to go. So amount of, it's even down to closing ratios. So it's how many members do you need, each month to be able to hit your goals that you're setting for profitability, and actually to the main levels that we want to be in the system. Memberships is the best, basically, program or aspect. In the way of cost, basically, if they're just starting or doing just training, so we do have, basically everybody that is there, so 100% are doing EMS training. We do have, like I said, where people are doing all the encompassing. So we have everything from $200 starting at the low end memberships to actually do a full unlimited plan for all of our services at $1,500 a month. I would say that our average per member, so this is people that are 200, and we do have, believe it or not, we do have quite a few that are at $1,500 in unlimited programs. Our average per member for our current location is just over $800 per member.
That's pretty incredible. Quite different than my spin studio that I had, for sure. Okay, so Yeah, very attractive. It doesn't take a lot of members, I would guess, at an average of 800. I mean, when you're looking at it from a return on investment standpoint. So let's shift to who your ideal candidate is. What does your ideal investor in a Pulse Performance look like?
That's a great question. So we really, one of the top ways I've built other concepts as well as just my network as being a multi-unit, multi-brand franchisee and retail services. So of course we do go after, a big amount of our targeting or going after is people that have been in retail services. It's an easy way to know how they operate now. Are they a high level successful franchisee, in a retail services space? And then really the people that are really getting into franchising and want to do some of their lives, our most successful franchisees, and some of them have always been our top franchisees, have come in high level sales positions. So, medical sales, pharmaceutical sales, financial sales. So people that are in that kind of six-figure sales positions because they have that competitive spirit, they have that drive, and we always make it very, competitive way of, the competitive spirit is the best way of saying it in our system. We let everybody know where they're at. We know how they're performing compared to all the other locations. So we really try to make it fun with those competitive mind spirits that want to be number one, that don't like being last versus always somebody that's last. But we really try to make it where it's kind of fun, and we bring in really people that are open and that are really good about peer-to-peer. So a lot of people in my network are people that have been very successful operators, in the retail services space. It's really important to have a system that helps drive, because they know that ultimately other people that are successful are going to build the overall brand more, educate people more. So again, I guess the best answer to that is people that have that competitive, sales, customer service, high background.
And do you allow for semi-passive ownership?
So that's a good question. So what we do is we always require an operating partner. Basically with one thing I've learned in trying to have where people run a system with just managers, if you don't have somebody that has vested interest, you get out of it what you put into it is the best way of putting it. So I believe in that with our success and what we're trying to drive and have in our actual system is actually people that are involved in the business and or have an operating partner that obviously meets our requirements. So that's the key as well. But I think when you put full force efforts into any business, you're going to have a 10 times better result than having to where you're not involved or help driving the overall team or people in the business.
Yeah, that makes sense. So from a financial investment standpoint, for a single studio, it looks like the range is from $300,000 to approximately $500,000. And the build out cost associated with that is around $150,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. And again, that's, every market area is different, obviously with, and then believe it or not, Austin is the most expensive place to do construction and so on in Texas. But, we're averaging about 100 a square foot. So if you're 1,500 square feet, that's where the 150,000 comes from. But again, you could be in California or New York, and the average per square foot could be at 130. So that range in there is being based off of the market area you're in and what the overall cost. So that could be overall rents, that could be, obviously deposits and things in there. So you always have that range, because we usually do always have, coastal markets are usually a lot higher for construction costs and so on.
All right. And then are you allowing for single unit investments, or are you solely focused right now on multi-unit ownership?
If it's we are 100% on the multi-unit concept. We've, obviously with any brand, we've built out programs on how to be, if they've never been a multi-unit owner, how to manage and do multiple stores. I can tell you with our concept, because you do only have 5 to 7 employees, to be able to really manage it to where, ultimately, if you have several people out, and this is a bad thing to say, but sick or with COVID or anything else that can happen, you don't have that huge amount of staff that really can maybe possibly cover. We've actually built a program though that we have 3 full-time as the main piece with your key people, and then the rest are part-time so that you don't have to worry about coming to open the doors if somebody's out sick. But we ultimately know that with any brand, with one location, a lot of times it's more of a job. It depends on ultimately too where people want to be at financially. Ultimately we really talk with them on what is your long-term goal, where do you need to be, especially if you're bringing in people at high sales levels that can make $300,000 a year. We want to make sure to ultimately know where they need to be and where they ultimately want to be with their life, what kind of freedoms that they want in their life as well. And we know with the multi-unit, you have area managers, you have lead trainers and staff that can easily go in and not only help drive locations, but then making sure that you're performing at a high level and having people to be able to cover or pick up as well. Single unit, yes, we definitely would look at if it's the right candidate, but they would still have to be in the mindset they're looking to expand and be multi-unit. Yeah, we're definitely not looking to open 1,000 locations and have 1,000 franchisees. I'd much rather have that be 300 franchisees opening 1,000 stores.
Sure. No, that makes absolute sense. So on a last note, JD, are there any hot target markets that you are targeting for growth, or are you just nationwide right now?
We're nationwide. Obviously we're looking at major market areas. Personally, like my focus personally now, of course, with all the great things that have happened with IFPG, we're getting, obviously territory checks and possible franchisees all over the U.S. But where our main marketing and focus is Texas, Florida. Georgia is also another, major market because I've personally developed stores in those markets. It's a lot of my personal network as well. But no, we are fully launched, nationwide, and really with those efforts is just really looking for that right candidate.
All right. I always do this. I say on a last note, but I do have one more question. I always think of something else. So what is your target demographic? I mean, what are you seeing in your Austin studio as far as the demographic that you're drawing?
So, our main target market age-wise is 35 to 65. We do have, and again, because the fact of more of the arthritis, major issues with people 65 and older, we actually see a 30% higher result. We do have people as young as 25, but our main core customer is 35 to 65. Usually they're, any market area that we go into is very specific. We have to have 75,000 plus income. We want to have 100,000 plus people. So we know that, to drive success of franchisees and drive the markets have to be able to have, the customers we're looking for, and again, that's why we base off. I've been doing this a long time, but we can get a lot more in depth into it, but we actually go down to very particular details of, could be from what kind of car they drive, if they have dogs or cats. I mean, it's crazy the data that you can pull. Now, as we grow and as we build our system, we actually have platforms that we do that where if you have 10 locations is really kind of that magic number, but 10 locations and, at least that's 1,000 plus, customers that we dig through that data to, that's really where we get into where's our core exact person and how do we target them? That's the beautiful thing about this world today. If we know exactly who our customer is, which we have a good basis, is based off of a lot of our retail customers we've had before, in the different retail service businesses, but that'll be perfected and be fine-tuned over and over. And as we get more and more customers, it'll be more and more fine-tuned. Hope that answered that properly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm located, you mentioned Florida, so I'm located here in West Palm Beach, and I could see this just, being a prime market for a Pulse Performance, certainly. Well, JD, thank you so much for joining me today. Very interesting concept. I love that it's technology based. It has multiple revenue streams. You absolutely know who you're targeting. And for individuals that want to make a difference in people's lives, this is absolutely a concept that meets that criteria. So
Thank you
you.
very much.
Yeah,
I appreciate the kind words.
yeah, my pleasure. I will look forward to hopefully bringing some prospects your way soon.
Well, I greatly appreciate that. And thank you so much for letting me be on your podcast.
My pleasure. For anybody that is interested in learning more about Pulse Performance and interested in checking territory availability, please feel free to reach out to me at Stacy@fusionfranchising.com. Thanks and have a great day.